Sorry for missing out on yesterday, but snow day. Chapter 6. Through New Eyes. Gems! Precious gems! Exclaimed the leader of the Diamond Dogs, Rover, scooping up a pawful from the hole he and his fellow dogs had just dug out. The others joining him, enjoying their find. Well, what have we here? Asked a female voice behind them. The trio looked up to see Checker standing above them, looking down at them with a cold, calculating stare. Look at his moon behind her. "A pony!" exclaimed Spot, the smallest of the three. "Here!" ordered Rover, Spot, and the other one, Fido, jumping up and running Checker. "Oh, now, there's no need for that," Checker said with a detached expression, not seeming moved at all. Her horn lit up as a rock moved several inches to the right in an instant, tripping Fido and causing him to fall on Spot, knocking them both to the ground. As he tried to get up, she pulled a gem out of her pocket. Her horn lit up its dark violet as she enchanted the gem, keeping her eyes on the two dogs as she did so. "Fetch," she said simply, as he threw it right in front of the two diamond dogs. As they looked at it, their eyes seemed to roll over, replaced by hearts. "It's mine!" exclaimed Spot, jumping on instantly. "No, I want gem!" yelled Fido, jumping on Spot, getting right into a large fight. "What are you doing?" asked Rover, watching his two cohorts fighting amongst themselves. "Get a pony!" Checker gave an uninterested sigh, walking up to him. "Want it, needed spell. It's a personal favorite of mine," she explained in a cold tone that made even Rover seem like uneasy. Rover tried to grab her, only for her to duck under his arm and sneak up behind him, bringing her host down on his back and forcing him to the ground. "Sorry for the inconvenience, but I couldn't have them attacking me, not until after I explained my offer. You seem to be quite fond of gems, correct?" Rover looked up at her uncomfortably, but looked intrigued by messages of gems. "Yes, we're Diamond Dogs. We want gems. We want all the gems." "Well, I'm a very wealthy pony," said Checker, giving a false smile. "Ugh, I had to pick minions with bad breath. Oh well, good help is so hard to find these days. If you work for me, I could get you a lot of gems. I mean, a lot." She stayed, looking him in the eye, keeping her smirk, but her detached eyes never changing. Rover gave a small smirk before at the proposition. "I'm listening." Trixie climbed up onto her borrowed bed, feeling like a dead weight. She was completely worn out, sore, and generally felt like she had been through hay. But it was a good tired. For the first time in months, she actually felt happy. Maybe it was what she accomplished. Maybe it was all the praise. Or maybe, just maybe, it was finally starting to believe she carried for years, dead to nothing but hold her town. Still, it felt like she was missing something. Then it hit her. "Spike," asked Trixie, peeking out to look at the little dragon. Spike looked at the mayor. "Yeah, Trixie?" "Can you only send letters to Celestia, or to anyone?" "Anyone, so long as you tell me the address, I can send it," explained Spike, in a somewhat proud tone. Trixie gave it some thought, then telekinetically floated a quill and some ink, then scrawled to herself. "All right. Trixie has a very important letter she needs sent." "I can write if you want me to," said Spike. It was his job after all. "No, that's quite all right. It's a very private letter," Trixie quickly explained, beginning to write. "Dear Helena Midsummer. Hello, grandmother. It's been a long time. Too long. I know I haven't seen you since I was a little filly. I hope you're well. I know how I've acted, how I haven't visited you in a long time, how I haven't wrote to you for years. It was wrong to abandon you like I have, especially after all you've done for me. It was selfish, and I won't blame you if you never forgave me. I was told that caring for others made you weak, and I believed it. At present, there are very few mistakes I regret more than that one. I love you, grandmother. I miss you, and I'm sorry. Your granddaughter, Trixie." Tears dropped on the scroll, staining the page. Trixie turned her back to Twilight and Spike, so she could let herself cry without being seen. Taking back a sob, seeing something else. P.S. I'm presently in Ponyville with a friend. I'll include the address if you wish to contact me. I don't blame you if you don't. I just had to get this off my chest. Trixie let her tears flow for a few moments, till she finally composed herself. Rolling up the scroll, wiping the tears from her face or her foreleg. Here you are, Spike, Trixie said, turning a floating down to the little dragon, who put a different ribbon on it than normal, since the recipient was the princess. Okay, where to? Huffington, explained Trixie, giving the exact address. Got that. Spike nodded, poking his head out the window, breathing fire into the letter, sending it off. Alright, it's on its way. Trixie nodded. Trixie is grateful, she said, before a wide yawn interrupted her. And tired, said Twilight, snuggling to her makeshift bed. Can't say I blame you after the day you've had. Trixie gave a nod of agreement. Trixie could not agree more. This is probably the most physically and mentally draining day of her entire life, she said, getting under the covers. Good night, Twilight Sparkle. Spike. Good night, Trixie, Bubbleton replied. You're sure the poison don't won't affect you, right? Asked Twilight, not exactly convinced. Trixie is immune to plants like poison ivy, has been since he was a filly, so she should be fine, said Trixie, confident as always. Alright, also tomorrow you're going to be working with Applejack. They found a job they need done and you can do, said Twilight, still uncertain but hopeful. Trixie blinked. What's the job? Trixie had not forgotten that the Apple family didn't exactly like her outside of Applejack. Sorting apples for apple cider, explained Twilight. Me and the others are helping too. She decided to give you a job while we're at it, she explained. Apparently Applebloom had a lot to do with that. Trixie had proved diligent at the task she was assigned. It was asking for help afterwards that was the problem, so it seems like a good idea. After finding out how effectively we work together, thanks to these two brothers with a cider machine who tried to take Applejack's farm, we decided it worked out better as a team. Two brothers? Asked Trixie, blinking confusion, but a little suspicion. Yeah, they call themselves the Flim Flam Brothers, explained Twilight, looking at Trixie to see her look rather angry. You know them? Yes. Trixie knows them, explained Trixie, growling a little. They turned Trixie into investing into the machine you seem to have run into, and then cut down with Trixie's bunny, leaving a note and rubbing it in her face. Trixie was not their only victim in town either. Just at the time, the only one Trixie cared about. That sounds like them, Twilight said, remembering the experience with the pair of constallions. You didn't report it? Of course Trixie did, but Trixie didn't read the fine print in the contract she signed when she infested, so the legal mumbo-jumbo that let them off the hook. Anyway, please tell Trixie you kicked their flanks rather thoroughly, Trixie replied with a growl. Well, actually, we lost. Then the town chased them out, and Applejack warned her entire family, who own apple orchards all over Equestria, about them. They're not getting off easy. You're fortunate Trixie wasn't here, Trixie snarled. Or Trixie would have probably given them the anything you could do Trixie can do treatment in the most humiliating way she possibly could. They bragged about it? Spike asked. Yes, there would have been much bragging. I would have liked to see that, said Spike with a chuckle, giving Trixie a smirk. I doubt Applejack or Rainbow Dash would have argued. Anyway, we should get some sleep, replied Twilight with a yawn. Good night. Good night. Trixie laying down, letting herself fall asleep as the lights shut off, and the only thing stirring was Alice's keeping ever vigilant. So, the deal is simple. You help me ruin a certain annoying mayor's life, again, and I provide you with a very large amount of gems, said Checker, sitting across from Rover on a rock. Her speech and posture was like she was talking over a simple business deal, as opposed to arranging the ruination of somebody else. Helping Hoof even provided them with both a cup of tea. Do we have a deal? Hoover gave his as much sun as a diamond dog could, then smirked. But what if we kidnapped me for ransom? Asked Checker, slowly setting down her tea. Or she telekinetically grabbed the collar around Rover's neck, pulling him to face her. Then this little mine of yours becomes a parking lot, she said, giving the dog a piercing, hateful glare, dropping all pretense of politeness. With you and your pack still under it, she spat before letting him go. Understood? The mare asked in a perfectly polite tone as she took a drink of tea. Rover gulped, giving a trembling nod, and thought it over again as he recovered. Lots of gems! You'll be swimming in them. And I mean that literally. Rover gave a nod. We help! We want gems! He said, extending his paw and taking her hoof for a handshake. Good, Checker said, gagging and flicking her hoof like he had been touched something rotten once the handshake was finished. She turned to the two still fighting diamond dogs, horn lighting up as she broke the spell, leaving both laying in confusion over what had just happened. She floated about 10 very high-class gems out of her pockets and deposited them at Rover's paw. A down payment, she explained, floating a stick of lipstick out of her purse and playing it absentmindedly. Welcome to Monarch Incorporated. Rover took the gems with a smile. Spot! Rido! Come! We're working with Pony now! We have deal! Trixie groaned, rolling over her bed, trying to fall into a peaceful sleep but unable to. She finally sighed and got up with a groan. She looked over to see two big eyes staring at her. Who? Oh, hello, Alice. Who? Trixie stared at the window, looked into the balcony, then looked at the owl, remembering he was keeping an eye on her. Trixie's merely getting some fresh air. All right. Who? Trixie took that. Trixie will take it as a yes, said the unicorn, trying through the window looking over the balcony, staring up at the luminous moon and stars, closing the window with her telekinesis. Trixie looked up at the moon. I wonder how it was like for you to suddenly see the world change in an instant, she said, knowing from Twilight how Luna had difficulty adjusting to the world after her 1,000 years of banishment. That's how I feel right now. It's just like something has suddenly changed. Everything is so different than how I thought it was, she muttered, thinking it out slowly. Okay, there's an original song here, but there are no lyrics, so I'm gonna try a little something different. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I am who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulls from orbit as it passes the sun. Like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I've been changed for good. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea. Like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I've been changed for good. Trixie then heard a voice. Well, it may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So, let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I've learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart, And now, whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. And just to clear the air, I've asked forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit, like a ship blown from its mooring, as it passes a sun by a wind off the sea, like a stream that meets a boulder, like a seed dropped by a bird halfway through the wood in the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I've been changed for the better, because I knew you, because I knew you. I've been changed for good. I know it's not easy, Trixie, Twilight said softly. When I first came to Ponyville, I said the favorite Equestria didn't depend on me making friends. It wasn't even close to my top priority. It wasn't even on my rather extensive checklist. I thought the only reason any pony would be my friend was because I was some pony important. I always saw Spike as my true friend because we've been together since he was born. Would you know that looking at me now? Trixie slowly shook her head. No, Trixie wouldn't think that at all, Twilight. There you go, said Twilight, putting a hoof on her shoulder. I know you've had your worldview shaken, if things don't make as much sense to you as they used to. But I promise, we won't let you get lost. I'll be your guide. Twilight knew better than to use the phrase, I'll help you, Trixie. Trixie gave it some thought, didn't know it's Twilight. Alright, Twilight. You still be Trixie's guide. Every pony needs one when in unfamiliar territory. Pinkie Pie swear. Twilight blinked in surprise, though that more Trixie knew what one was. Did she nod? Cross my heart, hold the fly, stick a cupcake in my— Ow! Twilight gave a cry of pain as he stabbed herself in the hoof. Trixie chuckled. I just I told Trixie you had trouble with that part. She said, giving a smile. Get to sleep. Trixie will be in shortly. Alright. Twilight nodded, rubbing her painful eye and gave it a snuggle. Alright. Just don't be out too long, okay? She said, looking back to Trixie. Trixie nodded thoughtfully. Trixie won't. Good night, Twilight. Good night, Trixie. Trixie smiled lightly, looking up at the sky. She gave a wide yawn. I better get to bed, or I'll not be able to do my job at Sweet Apple Acres in the morning, she muttered, turning and hanging backside. With any luck, Rainbow Dash has calmed down. So, that's how it is, said Checkered. He had from sight under the balcony Trixie had stood on just moments before, the diamond dogs and helping hosts surrounding her. We get her for you? Asked Rover, looking to the pony who had hired him to his packmates. No, not yet, said Checkered, walking on. Come, she commanded, leaning away. But you said you want to hurt Pony, said Spot, scratching his head with paw in confusion. Brute force isn't always the way of doing things, replied Checkered, looking back to see confusion from three canines. You know nothing at all of psychology, do you? She asked, getting a head shake. I'm going to force her to play into my hoof through cunning, not by kidnapping her, or having you beat her up. She continued, still able to tell he wasn't exactly getting through the trio. She gave her thrust a sigh. Helping Hoof. Make a note next time I seek to employ some henchmen. Give them an IQ test first. Yes, Miss Monarch, replied the Stallion with a simple nod. Checker looked back at the Diamond Dogs. My point is that you do not need to resort to force when there are other, far more effective ways to get the same effect, she said, looking back to the path. All it takes is the intelligence to manipulate ponies, being willing to crush somebody else to do so. What happened when you tried to kidnap that pony you told me about, Rover? All three Diamond Dogs winced. She whined until we let her go. Exactly. Because she discovered your sensitive ears were vulnerable to such assaults. Checker explains as he got closer to Sweet Apple Acres. She turned the tables on you with her mind, not her hooves. You used brute force while she used mental force. Since your own mental force is lesser than hers, you lost.
Hey, are you saying we're dumb?
Asked Fido, insulted. No, I'm saying she's smarter, replied Checker, not looking back. And also, you three are utter imbeciles with less intelligence than the rocks you dig out of the ground, she thought. Now be quiet. We're almost there. The Apple family slowly got ready for bed. Granny Smith already there, and the three Apple children all preparing themselves. Now, Blake McIntosh, said Applejack, looking her brother's way. I know you're still sore about how Trixie treated me before, and probably don't trust her that much. Big McIntosh didn't look her direction, but looked somewhat upset. Yup, was his only response as he continued to go and prepare for bed. But police will be going hard on her tomorrow. We need all the hooves we can get. Apple nuzzled her big brother, looking up at him. You'll give her a chance, won't you, Big Mike? She asked, giving her brother quivering puppy dog eyes. She's my friend. McIntosh couldn't resist the little filly's puppy eyes. It gave a small smile. Yup, he said, ruffling the filly's mane. Applejack smiled. Good. Now let's all head to Holly. I'll work in the morning. So he said, yawning before heading to bed. You gotta get the apples for the fair step. Now's it safe? Big McIntosh nodded. Yup, not going anywhere. Not Applejack. Interesting, said Checker, not sitting too far from the house, using her eavesdropping spell. She then gave a thoughtful look. Yes, I believe a plan is coming to mind, she said, taking out a small golden box and opening it to reveal a miniature chessboard. Or holding it up, causing a holographic chessboard to display a chess piece for herself, being the king, and Trixie on the other side. The Twilight, Rarity, and Applejack pieces on that side as well, while her side had pieces of Diamond Dogs and Helping Hooves. Just one more thing. Let's check out this Rainbow Dash character, shall we?